Ever since Daedalic Entertainment first revealed they were working on a Lord of the Rings IP, people were excited. And then we saw what it was. Lord of the Rings Gollum is now infamous for being a Lord of the Rings game that no one really asked for. For a game that's coming to Steam and the next generation of consoles as well, it is amazing at how badly the promotion for this title has gone. The dislikes, the memes, Gollum is looking as horrific as ever. You see, I think that's probably one of its biggest weaknesses. The fact that it's had this Lord of the Rings skin on it means that everybody's expecting a massive Lord of the Rings scale title. This is a development team that don't make massive scale Lord of the Rings titles. They make smaller indie games, adventure titles, and Gollum is just an adventure game. Some stealth, some climbing, some puzzles, just with a Lord of the Rings skin on it, which I think is probably going to be its worst detriment and the thing that has probably killed it before its actual release. But hey, there's some gameplay for this, so let's dive in, because Lord of the Rings Gollum is way worse than you think. Welcome back, Sam, to one of the most fantastic games ever. This is Lord of the Rings Gollum. You're a fan of Lord of the Rings, aren't you?
I am a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
You're about to not be.
Okay, good.
So when this was announced, everyone was excited because obviously the Lord of the Rings IP was starting to grow again. I don't know if you just caught a glimpse of that monstrosity. Yeah. And there's a lot of Lord of the Rings games that were coming out with a new TV show. Yeah. And this one was goddamn announced. This was the first bit of gameplay stuff that we saw. And the first thing on most people's mind is, but why? It's the design of Gollum that I think is the weirdest thing as well.
That's really strange, isn't it?
I think it's like a stealth adventure game, but what is that?
Why is that a thing?
I don't think anyone really knows. The more gameplay came out, the more terrifying that it became.
Yeah.
So actually, this bit of gameplay was from 2022, on the 7th of July. So this is more recently, but look at the dislikes on that. I'd love to play a remaster of this game.
Well, I was going to say, it did look like something that came out like 10 years ago.
I mean, I think all the comments like this. Glad to see they're keeping the PS2 alive with new releases. It looks horrific.
It looks awful.
We're going to travel back in time a little bit. So let's go with the first trailer. So this came out on the 24th of August, 2020. This was our first look at it. And when we knew that there was a new Lord of the Rings game, there was a decent bit of excitement. Because I think everybody's wanting something new in Lord of the Rings universe. Because everything that's been out is all classics, but there's not been that much recently, really. No. And I mean, this looks pretty cool to start with, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks fine, doesn't it? It's a trailer, isn't it?
Oh, who's that? Is that a Gollum? Why are they keeping him in the shadow, though?
Because he looks like a haunted frog.
If they change the name of this game... Oh, my God. They changed the name of this game to The Haunted Frog. Maybe people might like it more. I don't know if it was, like, intentionally to go down to make it more kid-friendly, to make him look like a cartoon character.
It doesn't look like they've tried to make it kid-friendly. Look at that. It looks like a horror thing.
So this is one of the developers then.
Right. Well, they look like... So this video, they made that video in 2021. Now it looks like they made that in 2000 as well. So maybe
I don't know what it is. Is it? I think it's just the shadows. They just look horrifically bad. Thing is, I also don't know if a story about Gollum would be that interesting. Because he is a side character for a reason, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a lot that doesn't appear, especially in the films, about Gollum.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of... like, big jumps in his timeline.
There's a lot of backstory and stuff like that, but the problem is this doesn't really look to be much of like the backstory. It kind of is going for just that adventure game set during the time of like the Third Age and stuff, rather than it might be interesting to go like back to the start of Gollum, but it doesn't really look like it's going to do much of that.
Yeah, well, it said you get to play as both Schmeagol and Gollum. Like,
is it a co-op game?
Two-player, but both controlling the same character.
You're fighting over it until someone strangles the other one trying to get the goddamn ring off.
Now that would be a good game.
He's got a fish on his belt. I only just noticed that.
Maybe that must be his weapon.
You equip fish.
Equip the fish.
I mean, I like the look of all this stuff of everything but Gollum. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily that the majority of the game design is bad, but the actual character design of Gollum seems to be like way off.
See, the inside architecture looks pretty good, and it does look very Lord of the Rings. But the problem is when you got a game like Gollum and you fuck up on the design of Gollum.
Yeah, I mean, it's a one-player game, isn't it? So you're going to spend all your time with this one character that looks dreadful.
And they're going to have to try and find a way of making people actually care about Gollum, other than just the guy that eats fish and gets angry at reflections.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It's that screen, isn't it? It's that. It's even. Just, can we? Oh God, that is. Oh Jesus, what is that? That's like something from everybody's nightmares.
It's so awful. Look at the dragon on the next screen as well, because that looks really bad as well.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's made out of Play-Doh. Yeah, you're right. His movements are. It's just a little bit weird. It all just looks a bit off.
Look at that. It looks
What?
a bit...
Yes. I mean, that is horrifically
That's bad.
weird. The problem is, this is being given the title of Lord of the Rings. So essentially what they're doing there is putting it out as a mainstream game, but I don't know if the developers are a mainstream development team like AAA. So these are the people that make it. Dalek Entertainment. And their history is not big budget stuff.
Yeah.
It's all like small indie games that you know that are kind of like fun little things to play. So the fact that they're now going for a big Lord of the Rings thing, and that's the problem I think they've got with this, is judging by all the screenshots and all the gameplay, it looks like a fun little indie adventure game, but because they've used the Lord of the Rings license,
It's going into this whole other world that
and people are going to
really,
expect something massive.
Yeah.
Because it's Lord of the Rings, right? But
Yeah.
it's not going to be massive.
Like,
But even just look
God.
on the texture of like his pants is just like
it's not
glitched
good,
into his
is it?
leg on
It's
the
all
promo
just-
shots.
Like, if you're going to have a promo shot, at least make them a good bit of your game.
Ooh, ooh, can we zoom into that bad boy? I want to try and zoom into that. What is going on there? What's his eyes? It looks like someone's put goggly eyes on him.
It's so awful.
Do you
Yeah.
think this is going to be a success or a flop when it
No,
comes
it's not
out?
going to be a success, is it? It's going to be, as you were saying, it's going to be lots of Lord of the Rings fans trying it rather than people who are fans of small indie games.
Which is kind of the audience they should be going for.
Yeah.
I think they have made a mistake putting a Lord of the Rings title and the IP on it,
Yeah.
because they could have probably made a decent game of it. I mean, business-wise, maybe it's a smart thing to do because now everyone knows about this game, but everyone knows about this game because it looks terrifying.
For the wrong reasons, yeah. I think maybe, yeah, it's just going to go out to the wrong audience who that's not what they're looking for in a Gollum game.
So, out of 10, are you the audience for that? What would you
I
rate
don't think I am, probably. Based on the short trailers, I probably wouldn't play it, and I would probably maybe give it a 3.
A 3.
A 3.
Yeah, I'd probably agree
And most
with
of those 3 points are coming purely from my interest in Lord of the Rings rather than
yeah,
the interest in the
I
game.
think that's probably most people. More Lord of the Rings, just less Gollum.
Less of that, whatever
Less-
that is.
We want Lord of the Rings, and then your mum says we've got Lord of the Rings at home, and this is what
And
she
that's
gives
what
you.
it is, yeah.
Well, that has been Lord of the Rings Gollum. I think if we can sum it up in one word, I would say terrifying.
Yeah, really scary.
Really,
Really scary.
really terrifying.